Hello, I'm Christin Brown. Hello.
Hi, it's Christin Brown.
Hi there.
And welcome back. It's giving very Wendy Williams.
Hi, I'm Christin Brown.
And I'm David Lopez, and we're kicking off the DevaCurl Academy Pro Artist Series today. We're going to be talking all about our classes that we're teaching.
Yes, we are.
Our journey in the hair industry, and getting to know each other a little more intimately, and our thoughts about the hair industry as a whole. So let's go ahead and get started.
Will you be there? Let's go. Alone? So real. So it's also like, you know, coming to the classes, like you also have to really understand that, like you said, there's gonna be experiences that a lot of people have not lived because we are not each other, right? But also it's going back to said state, said salon, and saying, I understand better. I understand more now. Now I have a different lens. Those rose-colored glasses are a little bit different now because I understand more, and I'm not approaching it with a hands-off approach. I'm approaching it with kid gloves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think one of the things that I love actually about education, specifically, I think your type of education, and I think where you and I both come from, is what is the seed that you can plant for texture. And for me, it does live in wash and go.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people
I
are not
agree.
used to touching their hair and feeling their hair. They do reach for tools,
Yeah,
brushes,
absolutely.
combs. You're not touching your hair. You need to feel what conditioner feels like. What does shampoo feel like? What does detangling feel like with your fingers? Exactly. And from there is born, get into the Denman, get into the picks, go in, you're born there. For me, the wash and go is really where it's born, and I still stand by that for people who have never experienced their texture fully.
Absolutely, because there's so much of that. There's so much of the, when I have people coming into the salon, I'm asking them from the jump, before they even see me, I want to see your wash and go.
Yeah.
And the level
How do you do your hair?
Right? Yeah, it's just like, here's how I show it up. And it's everything from being like, that's pretty on point.
Yeah.
To like, okay, we have some work to do, you know? And that is also so celebrated because there's opportunity in that. There's opportunity in somebody being like, I didn't know that my hair could do this. I've never seen my curls like this.
Without manipulation.
Without doing a twist out or a braid out, you know what I mean? And so it's flexi rod set. So I 100% agree with you on that. Like I stand with the wash and go because it's fundamental for the reason in my eyes that this is the first time that a person will be able to understand what their hair wants, what it needs, and it's talking to you. It's telling you how hydrated it is or how dehydrated it is. It's letting you know this is me. That is your truest, authentic self. Everything outside of that, beautiful, bonus. You know what I mean? Like you said, the Denman or whatever brush or tool you want to use or cocktailing products, but getting down to the essence of the wash and go is absolutely it's fundamental in learning about your hair.
What is the number one mistake you see people do with wash and goes in your clientele?
I think the number one mistake, and there's a few. We'll say they do them differently. We'll say differently. I would say a big one is the hair not being wet enough. You know, I think we want to towel dry the hair first, right?
Put it up in a turban,
they
do all the makeup and take it down.
You know, we're gonna get on Instagram. We're gonna use too hot of water. But the hair isn't wet enough, and I think a lot of people will blame it on the product being too sticky, the product not performing. I tried all these products. Okay, if we're trying all these products, what's happening in the technique? And typically, it's someone is just like, wow, that's really wet. Yes, curls are born in that wetness. You know what I mean? Wetter is better, you know? So it's really going back to that and just showing them. That's why I love having clients like have a mirror at that point in the process so they can see, right?
A mirror.
It's tactile, right? Like people need to see it and feel it.
I physically give them my hands in their hands. I'm like, feel it with me. Squeeze, see how much pressure I'm using. You want to hear that sound.
Yes, you want to hear the sound. And also what people forget is when you have their head forward and you're like, is your hair dripping? And they're like, no. It's like, yeah, because it's thirsty. You know, like it's little things like that, awareness, it's mindfulness. And so much And so often when we use a tool, we're not being mindful. We're putting all of our trust into this tool to do whatever. And I'm here for the tools. And I think we're here for the tools after we have a physical expression and experience of what our hair feels like to be that wet and that moisturized.
Yeah.
So yeah, what would you say yours is that you see often that you're like, this one, if you can have one thing out of the wash and go experience, be gone forever.
People touch their hair too damn much.
You know what?
They just touch it the whole time it's dry. And they're just like, is it dry? Is it dry? I'm like, oh, it's frizzy. I'm like, you literally touched it the entire time it was dry. I said, leave it alone. I said, leave it alone.
During
Don't
the drying
touch it.
process, when they're just here normally. Yeah.
I'm like, just leave it alone while it's drying. Just stop. They just are like, and then when they're diffusing, it's just like this and like this. Like, why is my hair so frizzy? I'm like, you have no critical thinking skills left, because clearly what you're doing here is not, aiding any sort of. But to be fair, like when I think about that, I'm like, wow, people have really not been taught anything about their own hair.
Absolutely. Outside
every article in like that you would see growing up changes now, but like you think about publications, every article is how to get the blowout, how to get the sleek hair. It wasn't like what are maximum ways to get definition. You know, what are the best ways to achieve volume but not lose definition without a frizz-free finish. I see that a lot. It's the touching. Or like a lot of raking their hands through, but not realizing what they're doing. They're like, well, I don't have any definition. Like, I'm like, did you rake your hands through your hair? Like, I'm like, well,
case closed.
I don't say like that. I do that inside. On the outside, I'm very patient, and I'm like, you're just like, well, I'm just gonna tell you about. When you rake your hands through. This is what happens. You break up all the curl families, and then they're all spread open.
Curl families, I love that.
Yeah, lots of cousins all together, and then I split them up when they dry. You know, they grow apart.
Just like cousins. Classic. Yeah. What about the person who is constantly, they come in and they're just like, I just don't know why my hair just gets so, and they're doing the pinch on the ends, and you're just like, shut it all the way down. How do we, because that person's also a toucher, right? They're a toucher and a puller, and they're like, do you see these pieces here? And how do we give somebody who is constantly doing the same techniques at home, but they come in, you show them something different, how do we get them to do their homework? How do we have that person show up for themselves post salon visit, post David experience? Like, what do we?
I love like a gentle, firm, take a look in the mirror approach. When they're like, I don't do this, I'm like, do that again in the mirror, look in the mirror.
I love that.
Why is my hair so flat? I'm like, you just flattened your hair. Why is my hair so frizzy? I'm like, what are you doing right now? Why is this section all the way down here? I'm like, you just pulled it down there. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
I do know. I feel seen. I feel seen in this very moment.
This is. Why is my hair? Why is this side of my hair always stretched out? I'm like, when you walked in with your purse on the shoulder and the hair fully under it.
Can we talk about that
longer.
all the time?
I'm like, it's not
all
longer.
the time. And you tend to favor the side that you throw your bag on, right? And it's constant. And what I love to do is show that person at that time, okay, you see your purse? And they're like, oh yeah. And you're like, because they're already pulling it out this way and chopping it down. I think people are not being mindful, you know, all the time, because it's their normal routine. It's their normal routine to, you know, to pull out and stretch their hair. It's their normal routine to take their day out on their hair. Why is my hair breaking in this upper back area that I can't reach, but I use a... Let's unpack it. You know? So yeah, you're absolutely right.
There's so much of that. So much of these kind of like lifestyle choices and things that people do that affect their hair that they're not realizing is happening. One of the things for me is heat damage. First of all, did I mess up my hair? No. I look great.
Fabulous. Fabulous.